Can you believe that there are some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Indy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion. And I'm Kiki Page, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called? Podcast, period. Or you're ugly. Period. Power approved. Alright.
The Alliance Vlog, the Alliance Vlog, the Alliance Vlog, the Alliance Vlog. Alliance? If you put an S in front of Alliance, you have Saliance. That's me.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance Vlog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Building an alliance.
Will you join us?
It's showtime.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
You're not here, you missing out, because this show...
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, listen up.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast.
I'm building an alliance.
This is pathetic.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal, and I'm joined by the lovely and talented Double D, Devin Dowling. Welcome to the show, sir. What's going on?
Hello. It is me. It's Devin D19. Back at it again with my man Jay Cal. I'm doing great. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Double D19, is that the old name back in the old days?
Yeah, 19 was like my baseball number, my soccer number. Like it's just my go-to number. So
I was
D19. I don't know, kind of rhymes.
I like it. It works. I was born in 78, so that was always my number when I played sports. Football was 78, and that's just stuck with me.
Hey, I like 78's a cool number.
It's a very round number for a very round guy. You know what I mean? Like for that O line, that D line, putting on 78 kind of meant that I was going to get tracked, but that's all right. It was good. It was fun. Obviously conspicuous by their absence. Not that I need to explain to you, but our pal DKM has taken a brief hiatus from the show, so he probably won't be on for a while. We hope that DK will join us down the road. We're going to kick that can, see where it lands. Of course, Rick Del Santo, who's been filling in, he is also gone this week too, but he'll be back next week, I believe, regular scheduled time. And then I'm sure Jaden will join us later this evening. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. But Double D, man, before we get too far into it, I got to tell you, I was at the United Wrestling Network Championship Wrestling from Hollywood's Coastline Clash. And I heard some tidbits. I got some news for you. What do you want to hear first? What do you want to know?
Tell me all about it. What happened?
All right. So first and foremost, there's a new number one contender for the United Wrestling Network world title. Now, these are kind of spoiler alerts, so I'm going to just warn everybody now. If you're watching, maybe if you don't want to get spoiled, maybe come back to the show in about 10 minutes. But I'm giving you that warning in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the match between Kenny King and Scorpio Sky was a number one contenders match for Danny Limelight's United Wrestling Network World Championship. Hell of a fight, man. Kenny King, I don't think people remember just how good that guy was. We think back to early in his career, he was one of the first Tough Enough contestants, in that first season. And although he didn't win Tough Enough, he went on to have a very lengthy career in pro wrestling, including stops in TNA and in Ring of Honor, where I believe he's a 2-time Ring of Honor television champion. So he's got the works. I mean, he's got the medal, and he is an older guy in the sport of pro wrestling, but the guy can still go. It looks like $1 million. And of course, Scorpio Sky is a fan favorite here on the Alliance blog. I have nothing but positive things to say about Scorpio Sky. It was a hell of a fight. Scorpio Sky ended up winning, only to be attacked. Now, you've probably never even heard of this guy, Double D, because this is like going back 14 years ago.
Lay it on me. Who is it?
Big Baby Slim. Does the name sound familiar at all to you?
No, honestly.
That's all right. Did you ever watch Wrestling Society X on MTV?
Just like I've seen random like YouTube reels of it. But...
Okay. So there was a very impressive individual from San Diego, California. His name was Big Baby Slim. He's a big guy. He used to actually wrestle not only here in Southern California and the surrounding territories, but had opportunities to wrestle in Japan. I think it was under, I want to say Torimon in Japan. And he went by Muscle Gang, where he was full out like blinged teeth and hair like afro puffs and stuff. It was crazy. But he was a very hot commodity back in the early 2000s, and he was part of Wrestling Society X. And he had a couple opportunities to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold when the NWA had a big promotion out here in Southern California. Great talent. And his last match was literally 14 years ago for the United Wrestling Network. And he left the business altogether. And seeing his return, the guy looks like he's in better shape today than he was the last day that he wrestled. Looks like $1 million. And the thing that I really enjoy about the United Wrestling Network is they're able to pick up these guys who are not well known, but look poster ready. Like they pass the sniff test. You know what I mean? Like they really are athletic guys, big guys, and they really do bring something different to the table. You won't see a Big Baby Slim anywhere else, probably Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And his return was pretty big deal. Hey, Jaden, welcome to the show. We're talking about the United Wrestling Network right now.
I heard you talking about big athletic guys. I figured this was a good time for me to join you.
Jaden.
We said athletic.
What's up, Double D?
Oh, not too much. Just, hanging out. We're just talking about, I just want to lay my comments on that before I forget about it. Kenny King, Scorpio Sky, those are two guys that I've seen forever. Kenny King back in the X division and TNA. He killed it back then. I definitely remember him then. And then Scorpio Sky being one of the first ever, him and I'm forgetting his name right now, but he was one half of the first ever AEW tag team champions.
Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, Frankie.
SCU. Which was interesting is, on Sunday night, Frankie Kazarian was in LA with TNA. They did the pay-per-view Rebellion. He was wrestling for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. And then tonight they're doing TNA tapings about 2 miles away from where Championship Wrestling from Hollywood filmed. So it's kind of all like, wow, we could have seen, I thought we would have seen a bigger TNA presence, but that didn't come to fruition. We did see Big Mama defend her United Wrestling Network World Championship against Brittany Brooks. Good match. I mean, Brittany Brooks is without sounding bad, she's like a prototypical blonde, fit female wrestler. Like she's unique in that she her style's a little bit different, but without sounding too mean about it, you see women like that everywhere. Big Mama is very unique and different because she has a very different size and a very different demeanor when she's in the ring. She's definitely not a fitness model, and the Irvine crowd really gets behind Big Mama because of the real character that she portrays. They really get behind the Smash Mouth style of Big Mama, and that was a fun match. Post that match, Alex Gracia, who challenged Big Mama for that title initially, was the second for Brittany Brooks, and then attacked her post match because I think she was frustrated that Brittany Brooks couldn't get any offense in. Real wild situation there because again, the women's division was very the women's division that the United Wrestling Network was building up over the years is all kind of depleted. Some of the talents went on to work for Women of Wrestling. Some of the talents just don't live in the state anymore. So it's really interesting that they bring in, they fly Big Mama in because I think she's from Kentucky or something, and then the local talents that they can find to bring in to have matches for her. So that was kind of fun. And then this one was wild. Double D. They had a tag team title match, but it was a 6-man tag match. So the winning team would win the tag titles or retain the tag titles, however it would play out. And immediately the group of Lights Camera faction, they're 3 individuals, and I don't have their names written down right now in front of me, but they also are Ice Williams, the WWE ID talent, is also part of that faction as well. So when the match started, all 4 men came in and jumped Bad Dude Tito and Shane Haste and Che Cabrera, injuring Bad Dude Tito's leg such that they escorted him to the back of the arena, and then had essentially a 4-on-2 match because although Ice Williams was not technically in the match, he was involved very much throughout the match. A lot of interesting stuff. Tito comes back out, and they still managed to get the win, even though that they were shorthanded most of the match. So I highly recommend you guys checking out the continuing weeks of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood because there was a lot of fun stuff going on there. And I think it'll be a good show for you guys when you get a chance to watch it.
Sounds like a show.
Do you check out the show regularly, Double D, or is that something you watch occasionally?
It's more occasional than anything. Like I'll throw it on just if I'm not doing anything. I think it's Sundays that it streams.
Yeah, Sundays. I think I want to say locally, I think it's like 10 a.m., but it's probably closer to like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock for you.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah, so I catch it whenever I can, but Sundays normally I'm busy doing something. But
being a new dad too, I'm sure you and a wife's probably got stuff for you to do as well. I don't know why that
honey-do list is, it's as long as my notes. So,
Jaden.
Yes.
How you been?
I've been. Can't wait for school to be over. I got tomorrow, and then next week is testing, and then over for the summer. So I got about as much, I can't wait for it to be over. I'm very well depleted at the moment, so I'm looking forward to that.
Man, I hear you on that one.
That ain't bad. What, 1 month left?
Oh no, less than that. I got tomorrow, and then next week is my testing, and that's it.
Oh.
So I mean, I still got 2 years after that, but at least I get a summer off.
Wait, you don't take summer school? Come on, man.
No, I did that once, and boy, that was a dumb mistake. I was so tired. I never got that mental break. So yeah. I did that once trying to, and in reality, it really didn't help me out much. I still got to wait 2 more years. So,
yeah, I remember there was a time when your boy Jay was in university. Okay, not university, community college, and I was working full time. I had a second part-time job, and I went to school for like 20 units, and I was like maxed out. Like they literally told me you cannot take any more units. and I was I didn't have a social life. I didn't have anything. I was just exhausted all the time. I don't recommend that.
No, and that's what I'm currently going through, plus helping Dr. Zirconium with DAWG Pro Wrestling. So I have, and other things on my table too. So I got a lot that's going on.
For sure.
And all the millions and millions of hot chicks.
I'm good with just one hot chick. I'm good with my hot chick. I'm good with that. So let's dive into this week's topic, and I think Jade might have some things to say about it. Now, on the pre-party this week, someone asked me, "Hey, who's someone you would like to see in the United Wrestling Network that you haven't seen there before?" And it made me think about all the talents that have been in the United Wrestling Network over the years, and who I really think would make an impact. Now, they've used a lot of guys, but one name that has been thrown around a lot was Joe Hendry. Now, obviously, Joe Hendry's stock is through the roof right now. I think there's not a talent more coveted right now than Joe Hendry, as he is, tiptoeing in the WWE with the WrestleMania match with Randy Orton. He's also appears on NXT with regularity. He was at the Royal Rumble. He has been a part of TNA for about 2 years now and has held that world title for quite some time. And it's like, for those who hadn't followed his career, it seems like he just kind of blew up overnight, but there was a grind there, and it took time for him to get to where he is today. So my question to both of you gentlemen is, and it's not exclusive to the NWA, but is there a talent out there in the world of pro wrestling that we don't know about that has the potential to be the next Joe Hendry? Not necessarily in terms of, the music or the gimmick or anything like that, but just somebody who's grinding out there, and once given the opportunity, you think they're going to take it to the next level. I'll start with you, Jaden. What are your thoughts on that? I know you see a ton of talent, not just with Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, but in pro wrestling in general. Is there someone you see out there that you think, like, man, that guy's he's gonna make it someday?
There's probably lots of them. I'm not thinking of anybody off the top of my head right now. It's definitely not as the next Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is a unique individual. The ability to add comedy with wrestling, with music, and his unique personality and his innate ability to market himself, that's up there with Matt Cardona in that aspect. So I don't necessarily think that there's somebody like Joe Hendry. I really like the idea that they're bringing in Hammerstone. I think that's huge for them. I wish they would bring back Davey Boy Smith Jr. I think he can be somebody that they can work around with. I will talk hours about how great Donovan Dijak was. I saw him at DAWG against David Goldie, and that match will eventually be on our YouTube, so make sure you keep an eye on that. But I really am a big fan of him. Alex Kane is actually almost expired. His MLW contract's almost expired, I think, next month. So I think he'd be somebody nice to see the NWA use. I know some people hate him, but there's so much money, untapped money, if somebody knows how to use them properly with Enzo Amore. So if the NWA was more serious, I think they can make more money with a less traditional character with Enzo, but I still think there's untapped money potential there. I will also talk about how incredibly talented David Goldie is. The current World Wrestling Grand Prix champion, he really should be somewhere. And Notorious Mimi and Valerie Vermin also, I see them with DAWG. I don't know why they're not in bigger places right now. So there is definitely talent out there, and I'm liking some of the stuff the NWA is currently doing. I know I crap all over them and talk when they do bad, but when they're doing well, I actually will say, they're doing some good stuff. I don't have a faith in Billy Corgan the book, but I can't wait till we do that meet and greet, by the way. I think we'll probably get booted out of the arena. But I'm liking the thing with Natalia. I'm liking the thing with Rhino. I'm liking the thing with Gail Kim. I'm liking the thing with Hammerstone. The Tonga twins, which seem to be really popular in the indies. That's something. That's something.
Wow.
What was that?
The Tonga twins are from WoW.
Yeah, I know, but they're also real popular. Like they're very well liked in the Reddit's independent circuit style people, and I think that's something that is, again, it's a good way to try to capitalize on some kind of momentum. There's a lot of rumors that there's a lot of NWA talent on their way out the door. So contracts are ending and they're looking to do other stuff. So it looks like to me they're preemptively restocking the shelves and reloading up with the some heavy artillery right now. And I don't mind it. And again, there's all the wrestlers I recommended too that I suggest. Ray Jazz, currently, who just recently is now going to the New Japan Dojo. I think he's right there now. He's somebody else I think that they could really capitalize on. There's a lot of talent out there that people, if they had a good, I mean, I don't actually dislike some of their scouting either. Some of the young talent they picked up is, they've definitely fallen in shit and coming out smelling with roses with people like Colby Carino and Silas Mason and Reckon Boligorsky and others out there that they could do a lot with. So I think there is the talent out there, just as long as they don't book Daredevil Dave DAWG, because that'll just kill the company.
Well, DAWG seems to survive with booking Dave Dahl. How's that work?
Well, sometimes you need fertilizer to make things grow, and that's exactly what Dave Dahl is, a big pile of fertilizer.
All right. Well,
a really big, overweight, bulbous, disgusting pile of fertilizer.
I really liked your answer with Goldie. I mean, he's a guy who has had a lot of spotlight because of his time with not only with World Wrestling Grand Prix and DAWG, but also having appearances on the Monster Factory and being part of the show that was on iTunes. But do you see his trajectory? Like, do you think he has an opportunity to take it to that next level?
Sat back and listened to Donovan Dijak talking about him, asking how old he was after wrestling him, and finding out his age and finding out he's like, he is way too good for as young as he is. And he put over his ability tremendously. And others who've been in the ring with him have done the same. So yes, I mean, look what he did with that brief spot with Cody Rhodes where Cody Rhodes manhandled him. It just unfortunately assaulted him. And I personally think Goldie should have sued him. But how he assaulted him as he was just trying to get some extra money being a security guy for the WWE. And look how he took that spot and how that's grown and how that exploded and how that's gotten him a lot of attention. Plus, don't forget his time into New Japan Dojo.
When you say New Japan Dojo, is he in Japan or is he in Southern California?
Southern California. He goes over the Southern with the Southern. He was there recently, not that long ago too, and he's done stuff for them. And it's, every little step he takes, everything he gets in there in the ring with, everybody he learns from, every chance he gets to try to capitalize on anything that's given to him, he takes that opportunity. I mean, there was the Apple TV show with the Monster Factory that he used to get some popularity and get noticed. He's obviously on the WWE radar. He was talked about with Cody Rhodes talked about him. Didn't mention him by name because he realized that he was probably going to sue him for assaulting him like he did. But he on the Chris Van Vliet, whatever his name is, Valet, sure. His podcast and his show right there, he is noticed and he's getting a lot of eyes on him because he's so talented. And now that they're coming in Philadelphia, maybe they should have a little, see if EC3 or anybody else can start checking out that Monster Factory and get themselves noticed, because there's a lot of talent in this Jersey area. I know that Ocasio does the New York, New Jersey stuff up in North Jersey, but they really should have some kind of scouting seminar around here because there's some talent that can make major waves in the NWA, especially if they're going to continue to come to this area.
So now I'm going to ask Double D that same question, and I'll restate it. Joe Hendry has had this meteoric rise in the world of pro wrestling. Obviously, nothing happened overnight, but for the casual viewer, he just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Do you see somebody out on the indies in the NWA or somebody like that who you think could take that next step that could have the same trajectory as a Joe Hendry? Not necessarily the same skill set, but just being able to get over and get themselves out there. Do you see anybody like that right now?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there's people with enough charisma to get themselves over. I don't know to the skyrocket that Joe Hendry did, because getting his song to be up there on the charts, I feel like, is one of the things that a pro wrestler has never done before. So something like that, it's untouchable. That's uncharted territory. But
wait, real quick. You mean With My Baby Tonight wasn't charted?
No, that one didn't. It didn't hit the charts. It was big in the UK, but didn't chart here in the US.
I heard it went Cardboard, which is one step better than Sheetrock.
Okay.
Wet Sheetrock.
She rock, she roll. Let's go.
Yes. So good. I'm sorry, go ahead, Double D.
Oh no, I thought of like a bunch of different wrestlers when Jaden was kind of going on his like tangent there about a bunch of people that could be in come to the NWA and help us out a bunch. I thought of a lot of people like that too. So I guess I kind of interpreted the question wrong as well. But so I'll just start with that. He talked about New Japan. I thought of Royce Isaacs right off the top of the bat, the other half of the wild cards, who he could come in and immediately be the number one contender, face Tom Latimer. Then I'm pumped for the Hammerstones. Like getting him at Crockett Cup's gonna be huge too. A couple guys on the indies, like Jordan Oliver. I've always thought for the past like 2 or 3 years I've been big on Jordan Oliver. I think he's gonna be a star someday. He's in you see him in like GCW a lot right now. He used to team with Nick Wayne. Dante Drago, he was the former Excite Pro Wrestling champion up here in the Northeast. So I think that he's the one that, like, for me right now, he's our big star. And then the tag team champions up here are the tag team Prime Time, which is Damian Saint and Carmelo Lee. Big fans of those two guys. So that's Excite Pro Wrestling. It's about around Buffalo territory. But yeah.
I think my answer is the same as it has been for the last few years. I think if someone gives Bad Dude Tito an opportunity, that guy can really bring it. His promos are pretty good. He's got that lot of natural charisma. He's a self-described Mexican Steiner brother. He does a lot of amazing moves in the ring. And although he's kind of in the tag team division for the United Wrestling Network, I mean, he had won a match to become the number one contender for the United Wrestling Network world title. And he's just, I feel like he adds credibility to any roster you put him on. Not only does he look like a bad dude, not only does he talk like a bad dude, but he wrestles like a bad dude, and the fans love the bad dude. So that's my guy that I would pick. And I think, he's had some of those opportunities. Like he's wrestled for CMLL down in Mexico City. He's wrestled for all over for the United Wrestling Network, but he's wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling in both the UK and in Japan. He's wrestled for New Japan here in the US. He's wrestled for MLW across the US. And I just see that guy has a ton of upside. But he's also starting to get a little bit older too. And it's like if that iron doesn't strike soon, it's going to be too late for him, I think, to make that big impact, which I think is kind of a bummer. But hopefully we'll see something come up for him anyways. Have you guys heard some of the tag teams that have been announced for the Crockett Cup?
Yes, and it seems like for the most part, it's just tag teams that have always wrestled for the NWA.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with the lack of diversity in the NWA tournament. I mean, real quick, let me answer this question. I think Jack Banning has at least retired from pro wrestling. I don't think he's not around the United Wrestling Network anymore. When he lost the Heritage title to Zicky Dice, the TV title to Zicky Dice, he kind of disappeared. So I don't know what's going on with Jack Banning anymore. And then James H. Jackson asked me how old is Bad Dude Tito, and I will look right now, see if I give you an answer. Bad Dude Tito was born in 1978, so that would make him 35, 36?
No.
That's 20 years older than me. That's like 47, 46.
I wish that that decade could keep somebody in their 30s, but that does not work that way.
I was born in 78 and I'm gonna be 47, so I just added so he'd be 37.
You said he was born in the 70s, right? 78.
88.
No, I thought you said 78.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought you said 78 too.
Yeah, yeah,
my-
I think you did say
Hey,
78. Now, right? I
Nate,
thought so.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been fighting a cold. I'm a little under the weather. I might have said 78, but I read 88. So if my brain didn't understand what my mouth was saying, I apologize.
Just thinking of your old football number.
Right? Maybe that's it too.
I was thinking it was his IQ.
What's that now?
I was thinking it was your IQ number.
That's rough, bro. Yeah, so let's kind of dive into the Crockett Cup. Jaden kind of alluded to it. Oh, Jaden just left. Screw that guy. Yeah, I booted him. Don't talk shit about me on my own show, man. No, that's not real. So at this year's Crockett Cup, we have obviously, and I don't have graphics for everybody, but as noted in the chat, we're going to see the debut of the Tonga twins. Here's the interesting point. Currently, as it stands, the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions are Big Mama and Kenzie Page. We know Kenzie Page will be defending the Women's World Championship against Natty Neihart, the other Natalia. So if the Tonga twins are coming in, who do they square off against? There's not a tag match for them, at least a tag title match. Double D, you have any guesses?
Kenzie and Big Mama. We got a fighting champion in Kenzie Page. Let her defend both titles.
She's going to go back to back, belly to belly, bumper to bumper.
Isn't it a 2-night event?
It's not a 2-night event. It's one night.
Well, then, I don't know. Because I kind of, probably Kylie subs in.
Kylie, they go Freebird rule and just put Kylie in?
Yeah.
They're
There's
champs.
supposed to be Kylie in there anyways.
Wait, are there champs currently?
Well, I mean, I don't know. On TV, they're still the champs. Kenzie and Big Mama are still the champs in terms of TV storyline. If they lost the title somewhere else in between, I'm not really aware of it.
I was under the impression they're not. That's why I was curious.
Oh.
Kenzie has the title on Tuesday.
I mean, yeah, but those are also pre-taped too.
That's not live?
No. Not even close. It's staler than opening up a bag of chips and leaving it out in your living room for a month. For about
all right.
Actually, it's about 8 months, because that seems to be what the NWA content seems to be from 8 months ago.
Oh shit, that's pretty accurate. James H. Jackson says Jaden scared me with all this NWA praise tonight.
I know, but when they do it well, I tell them. And it doesn't happen often, but when they do it, I definitely tell them.
Steve G, Big Mama is not from MPW. I think you might be thinking of Auntie Heidi. They are not the same.
No, Big Mama. Big Mama. That was Big Mama's house. What that was. What was that comedian's name?
Medea?
Not Medea. No, there was a comedian. He's Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence. Yeah, that's where he's from. Martin Lawrence. That's where we get Big Mama. Or if you want to go real old school, that's Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant's wife.
I think that's more of what they were going for with Big Mama.
No, but yeah, you know what? Too, you're mentioning before, like there was a skinny blonde taking on Big Mama. That contrast definitely, I think, was a good idea, because it gets Big Mama more over, because she stands out more. She's obviously not that, and when you see her against that, it makes Big Mama stand out. So with Championship Wrestling for Hollywood, I think that was a good call.
So without giving spoilers, Jane, you were correct. They are no longer the tag team champions. So I guess my question is kind of moot. But I had asked Double D when you took a break there for a second, is who should the Tonga twins wrestle at Crockett Cup? And it definitely won't be Kenzie and Big Mama. Who do you think it'll be?
Whoever are the champions that are kayfabe right now that we are not supposed to know about. That's who it should be. Gonna have a big match. Put the new champs in a tag match. Plus the NWA has a history of only having somebody champs for one or two defenses, and win it and then maybe defend it once and then losing it. So maybe that's what's going to happen. Whoever the champs are now, they just might disappear. Never be seen again.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The two-parter, it's kind of interesting, is we see a lot of the women from WoW kind of come to the NWA in small bursts. Like we said, the Tonga twins, they left WoW a long time ago. So I mean, there is that correlation that they were a part of Women of Wrestling and had a lot of success there. When they come to the NWA, there's no connection. But Valentina Rossi, who is part of this super group with Tiffany Nieves and Ms. Star, they're calling it the TVMA, which I love. I love the name, and they call it Television's Most Attractive, TVMA. They will be there at the Crockett Cup, and when I look at Valentina Rossi, I mean, she's also a part of the Alliance. No connection, no correlation, and WoW. So it's interesting. And then we know that I forgot her name. Help me out, Jaden. The pink-haired girl the blonde and pink-haired girl that you think would be good. OVW.
Who? Holly Hood?
Holly Hood. There it is. Holly Hood Haley J. Why can't I remember her name? Holly Hood Haley J is also currently with WoW and had ties to the NWA and has gone back and forth between the two. So it's interesting to see that correlation. A lot of us have kind of speculated that the NWA and WoW would do good to work with one another, but not that there's a direct pipeline between the two, but Double D, do you think that would be an interesting idea if WoW and the NWA work together?
100%. I mean, WoW has tons of great women out there that are going to make their mark on that business. Like, make more of a mark on the business very soon. So I think that if NWA is first bids on them, I'd say we do something like that.
Who's one? Do you watch WoW regularly? And if so, who's someone that you're watching?
I haven't in a while, but I remember this one, like, it was like a Pretty in Pink faction or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember any names right now. It's been a month or two since I've watched, but I'm not a regular watcher of WoW.
I personally hope that the TVMA gets Mobius and Ouroboros to join them, and then Morbius goes, wow.
Wow, I see, and that's more of Jaden's Daredevil talk.
No, that's Loki.
Sure, it's all connected. For what Double D was saying is that the Fabulous Four, which is Lana Starr was the manager, Penelope Pink, Lori Carlson, Lindsay Carlson, the twins, Vicky Lynn McCoy, and they recently brought in Holly Swag, aka Holly Hood Haley J, to WoW. And
wow.
And currently Holly Swag and Penelope Pink are your WoW tag team champions. And that's your WoW update.
Wow.
You're going to keep throwing me off with that. All right. So more teams that have been announced for the Crockett Cup. Talos and Daisy Kill will be in the Crockett Cup. We also know that the current U.S. Tag Team Champions, the Country Gentlemen. I keep calling them Southern Gentlemen. The Country Gentlemen will be in the Crockett Cup.
The quote current U.S. Tag Champs.
I mean, I just saw them on TV with the belt, so I don't know.
Yeah, because that's obviously live.
The Immortals will be in the Crockett Cup. Let's see. This makeshift tag team, they wrestled this past week on Power. We got Pretty Boy Smooth and EC3 will be at the Crockett Cup.
Yeah, with Pretty Boy Smooth, they'll have a head above the competition.
A head above the shoulders.
Not Talos.
No, trust me. He's got a 7 head. If you see him, you'll understand. Instead of a 4 head.
That's my bad.
Of course, Jaden's favorite tag team, the Slime Balls, will be in the tournament as well as.
I know 100% that a DAWG fan asked if we would bring in the Slime Balls. I've had somebody who asked if we would have interest in bringing them in. Well, not ask me, but I've heard it happen.
What did Dr. Z say when he heard that?
Right, what was that?
What did Dr. Z say when he heard that?
He was trying to shut down DAWG and think it's just over with now.
It's like, that's it.
Yep.
We're done.
Yep. Y'all killed the business.
Wasn't me. I wasn't there.
It wasn't even
Slime
there.
balls are fun. I like the new Nasty Boys.
I don't like the old Nasty Boys.
Well, see, and that's why I like having Double D on the show, because, you know, Jaden and I are about the same age, and, you know, DK is a little bit older. Rick's a little bit between our age and
a little bit older than dirt.
A little bit older than Jesus.
When DK was young, the Dead Sea was just sick.
And Rick's a little bit older than us as well, so I like to hear the young person's perspective, because Double D's a lot of bit younger than Jaden and I. And so when he says, hey, I like this guy, it's like, okay, well, tell me why you like him, because I don't get it. I actually see why some people like the slime balls. I get it. The irreverence, they're very kind of Nasty Boy-esque. I get that. They also kind of have that kind of kid appeal, I think. And Willie Bowen says, slime balls suck. James H. Jackson says, I'm ready to take the train to Slime Ball City.
Where the grass really stinks, and for you I pity.
For you I pity. Oh,
Double D, are you at least born in the 1900s?
1997.
Okay.
No, I'm almost 30. I'm 27. But...
Almost 30. Yeah, you know, never mind.
I graduated high school the year he was born.
I graduated the year before.
All right, maybe I'm a little bit younger.
All good. And I get, again, that's the thing about wrestling. It's a catch-all. You know, I'm the youngest guy on this channel until you got here, so it's all right. It's good. Willie, you said he has a tire stroke, so I'm gonna go look for that. But real quick, where is your tire stroke, Willie? Oh, here it is. Hey guys, Tyrus was going to be the next Hercules, but that ended when the producer saw his physique and table manners. What? What about his? Well, okay, Willie, let's work on that one. Let's workshop that. There's
you ever watch
there.
Hercules?
What's
the
that?
cartoon? You ever watch
the Disney
Hercules?
one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the little red guy that follows him around.
Yeah, my wife watches that. My kids and my wife watch that all the time. She watched it when she was a kid.
Well, that little red guy that follows.
Tyrus looks like Hercules ate that little red guy.
That little red guy kind of reminds me of Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Louis De Palma, too.
Who's Louis De Palma?
Yes, from Taxi.
Oh. Okay.
And Frank from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
The trash man.
He reminds me of that guy from Matilda that was gluing the Teslas back together.
Somebody could glue their stock prices back together, that's for sure.
No, it's just Tyrus is a glutton.
Yeah, with these jokes, we're a glutton for punishment.
Hey, all right. So we've got the field basically for the Crockett Cup. I mean, the returning 7-6, they won the tournament last year. Although I haven't seen it written down yet. I'm assuming that the World Tag Team Champions will be in the tournament. And like I said, we mentioned there's Talos and Daisy Kill. There's the Country Gentlemen, the Immortals.
Blunt Force Trauma, I think, too.
Yeah, BFT will be in it. Pretty Boy, EC3. So, I mean, it's not the tournament I was hoping for. It never has been. Every year that the NWA has ran the tournament since the post-COVID era, I feel like has been disappointing. Even during in 2021 when was it 22? It was 2022 when Dem Boys won the tournament. And then in 2023, I think it was I can look this up. I don't have to try to go from memory. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I like that one with Dem Boys and the Commonwealth Connection and the other talent that was in there for that year.
Yeah,
that was a very solid
up in recent memory.
Yeah, that was. And I was very happy. That was a very good tournament. I was very good. I wish, unfortunately, they were World Tag Team Champions. Maybe things would have been a little bit different, and we'd still have Jay, but Jamin.
So the past tournament winners were last year. It was the Southern Six, Morton Taylor. Then 23, it was Knox and Murdoch. And then 22, it was the Briscoes. In 2019, it was the Villains, Enterprise, Brody King, PCO. It certainly has felt a lot less international since the Briscoes won the tournament. I mean, there were teams from AAA in that 2022 tournament. The 2023 tournament was pretty much all
Same wrestling.
NWA tag teams. Like it was the Midnight Riders, which was Tyrus and Adonis, the Mortons, both Kerry and Ricky, Magnum Muscle, the Savages, Murnochs, the Country Gentlemen, the Spectaculars, Judeus and Max the Impaler, La Rebellion. They had that team, two teams from AAA.
Man, La Rebellion was awesome.
Say that again?
La Rebellion, they were awesome.
Yeah, and they're missed too. But so like now we're looking at the tag teams that are in this tournament so far, and it's just all NWA tag teams. Both this year and last year, there wasn't really an outside team for the tournament. And Jaden, do you feel like that makes the tournament? Does that hurt the tournament in your eyes?
Yes. It is more all Japan-esque with the Carnival of Champions, where they had the same, the very few tag teams outside of All Japan were featured, but also All Japan had some of the best tag teams in wrestling at that time. The NWA doesn't have that. Has all 8 teams been announced? We have 8 teams?
Let me double check what I have here. So we'll count it out loud. We got Kills and Talos. That's 1.
Yeah.
Country Gentlemen 2.
Yeah.
Immortals 3.
Yeah.
Smooth and EC3.
4.5. Counting as 4.5.
Blunt Force Trauma.
5.
The Slime Balls.
There's the other half, so we're now still at 5. Not 6.
Taylor and Morton.
7.
And then probably Murnochs. I haven't seen the announcement for Murnochs, but more than likely Murnochs.
They said they're going to be there, so possibly. I don't like the champs are in. I guess I do like the champs are in it because the champs have traditionally been in it, but.
So that gives us 8 teams.
Okay.
We need 8 more.
To do it right, we need 24 more.
Well, but it's a one-night tournament. Remember, they're not even doing playing matches, I don't think.
Well, they should make it a 2-day 4-event tournament.
At the very least, they should have done TV tapings in between Hard Times 5 and the Crockett Cup so that they could have had some matches and built up some storylines for it. Well, we're watching this week's Power, and I'll kind of break into this later. I think they had to rework the tournament for other reasons, but we'll talk about that more when we get into it. James H. Jackson says Billy doesn't want to spend for International Crockett Cup anymore, and I don't necessarily blame that either. I mean, look, when we look at this tournament and how it is being built together, the cup itself is kind of less impressive than it has been in previous years, but we're also getting Hammerstone on the card. We're also getting Natty Neihart versus Kenzie Page for the women's world title. That's a big one. And then we're also getting Rhino challenging for the 10 pounds of gold, which I feel like is still a pretty big match. So, I mean, although the tournament itself is suffering, I still think there's a lot of star power on this card.
And don't forget about Gail Kim and the Tonga twins,
sure,
and Earl Hebner,
yeah,
and the meet and greet with Billy Corgan.
Do you want to pay extra for that? You want to go to that?
Do you want to see if we can get kicked out?
Maybe. It'll make for good content.
Yes, it will. Can we record it?
We'll see.
You have to throw on a wrestling Alliance Wrestling blog shirt first.
Well, I assume some are being made, so that's easy. He asked me my size.
Do you guys want to see the design for the logo? No one else has seen it yet.
Sneak peek.
Exclusive. I won't tell anybody. Nobody. It'll just stay between us three.
So, because the Crockett Cup is in the city of brotherly love, paying homage to those EAGLES Eagles.
You know, the people in Philly can't even spell it. And
That's
I call
all
them the Philadelphia Screaming Chickens.
Screaming Chickens?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
The logo just looks like a chicken screaming.
Yeah. Do you notice the barbed wire? Because it's the ECW arena. Come on. The font.
That's
Look
no
at that.
eagly.
That's cool.
Yes.
Dope.
That's no eagly.
Yeah. Well,
Bring the font up again. I mean, bring the logo up again. Yeah.
I like Double D's recreation in the background.
Yes. Where's Coco Beware when we need him?
It's right there. That's Double D's a descendant of Coco Beware. You didn't know? Now you know.
He's the white sheep of the family.
That's. Whew. Glad you said that. Remember, kids. If I could pull it up, it'd be funny. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Jaden's expression. Yeah, there you go. That's DKM ain't here.
Well, it's just
I'm the humor, all right. Nobody cares.
Getting blamed for it.
Look. It's fine. I just don't want to get canceled for the things that Jaden says. He calls me the racist, but then he says stuff like that. I don't get it.
What? He's like Dolly.
Like
I don't
Dolly,
need partner.
Working 9 to 5.
What a way to make a living.
This show is already.
First of all, she's triple D. He's double D.
It's fair.
All right. So who do you pick?
My wife goes, "Who's Double D?" And I'm like, you wouldn't know her. She looked at me like, what?
No, but who do we pick? Who do you think is going to win the Crockett Cup? Assuming it's the Murdochs.
Well, so who needs it the most?
I assume Thrillbilly's turning on Kerry.
Okay.
So they're not repeating. I don't know, BFT maybe. They've had a big presence lately. EC3.
I'd say the Immortals. They need it the most.
I think I agree with you that the Immortals probably need it the most because they have yet to win the World Tag titles and they've kind of floundered in the division. Winning the Cup has a certain je ne sais quoi, a certain air of superiority. If they have that cup, that means their name is etched next to Sting and Luger, the Legion of Doom, or excuse me, the Road Warriors. So there is some cachet by holding the cup. On the flip side to that, I could see EC3 getting it to kind of appease him while he's out of the world title picture and kind of push him and PB Smooth as a more regular tag team. I also see like the Country Gentlemen could really benefit from winning the tournament as well, similar to the Immortals. But the caveat to that is the Country Gentlemen are still the U.S. Tag Team Champions, so they're still at gold. Were you about to say something, Jaden?
I'm sorry, I was choking on that still the U.S. Tag Champions line.
I don't know what you mean.
No?
What do you mean?
That there is actually a different U.S. Tag Team Champions?
What do you mean? I don't read spoilers, Jane. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. We were just talking about spoilers of everything.
Has he just spoiled UWN next month?
Look, I spoil for others. I don't spoil for myself. Like,
yes, you're no Don Jardine. Okay, I get it.
I heard there's a Marvel movie coming out, and Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in it, but I don't know what role he's going to play. I think it's Iron Man, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think you're going to feel a little doomed with that.
Willie Bowen says, will there be tag teams from the World League Wrestling, Exodus Pro, OVW, NWA Mid-America areas?
Nope.
And the quick answer to that, Willie, is I don't think so, man. Again, it's a one-day event. They're not doing 2 nights. And how do you fit all of those tag teams into a single night tournament and have a Hammerstone match, because that's important. He's on the card, and a world title match with Latimer and Rhino, and another world title match with Natty and Kenzie. So you don't have room for another match now.
And Hunter Drake versus Brian Idol.
Has that been booked?
I believe they've been promoting it a lot.
Really?
I mean, on every show.
Oh,
3 weeks.
I think that when you said Hunter Drake and my brain heard Carson Drake, I'm like, oh, okay.
No.
I think that's going to be on one of the episodes of Power leading up to the Crockett Cup Double D. I don't think that match is going to make that event. We kind of talk about this ad nauseum, but I really feel like it would benefit the NWA if they did similar to what MLW does, and they could make this whole event a live event and a taped event. You know what I mean? Like, they could air the second half of the show on live on YouTube, and then the other half of the show could be filmed for distribution on YouTube or X or whatever it is later. Like, maybe not spoil the finals for the tournament, maybe let that be on TV, but have perhaps the world title matches be featured on YouTube live. There's something that I feel like the way it's set up now, it just does not lend itself to have a good viewership,
Yeah, that we've pretty well established that the way NWA does things is not very good for the overall health and well-being of the NWA. Speaking about ad nauseum, Billy Corgan's booking adds a lot of nauseum. But yeah, it's. I'm happy to see guys get noticed, and I want people to get to the NWA to get some attention to them, because I know that they're stars and they need somebody to broadcast that. But you're right, the way they do things is just bass backwards.
Double D, what are your thoughts? I mean,
yeah, I think they kind of booked themselves into a corner here. I mean, yeah, matches like Natalya and Neidhart going to be on your show. You're going to want to push that match out as quick as you can. And you'd think that you'd want to be trying to sell pay-per-view buys on like Fight or Triller, whatever it is now, or something like that. But, that's why I'm not the booker or promoter.
What's interesting is
don't be Double D, don't be a promoter.
I don't play on it.
With the way that the territories work and everyone has their own kind of thing, right? Like I believe, I know the Kazanas put their stuff up on YouTube. I know X's Pro has been putting their events live on the NWA YouTube channel. I believe that the NWA Chicago events, they seem like they've been taped. I've seen camera crews there, but we haven't seen any of those matches make it on television. Crossfire has a deal with the Title Match Network and just now started putting some of their library, the catalog, up on YouTube. I just feel like it would be so smart if the NWA said, okay, look, we're going to do, it's a 4-hour event. We start at 6, we finish at 10, and the first hour and a half we're going to put live on YouTube, and the next hour and a half we'll distribute on our platforms later as TV tapings. And maybe the tournament is what's showcased on the live event, or maybe it's the tournament that's showcased on the TV taping, whatever it is. I just feel like this is probably the most interested I've heard people talk about the NWA since Cody. And I don't see them maximizing the attention. I don't see anyone really trying to, I don't see the NWA trying to squeeze the juice out of this berry that's right in front of them. Having Natty Neidhart, I know she's not the main eventer. It's not Charlotte Flair, but let's not kid ourselves. Natty Neidhart's still pretty freaking great in the ring, and this matchup should be really, really good. But it's only the internet community that's getting excited about it, and I don't see the NWA doing anything to reward the audience for being excited about it.
You are correct, sir. So, real quick, we kind of know what some people are going to be there. Using the matches that we know, fill in the blanks. How do you book this? How do you book this event? like we know who Latimer's wrestling for the world title. We know the world women's title. That's all we really know other than the cup, right?
Yeah.
How do you book it? You got 15 matches. That's what they tend to do.
All right. So do you want me to jump on this, Double D, or do you want to take a stab at it?
I'll take a stab quick. I just think that you start with whatever you think your best first round tag team match is. Then maybe get all the first rounds done and then go to a heavyweight championship. Probably the men's championship, in my opinion. You want to end with Natty and Kenzie. So, and then the next round, and then I don't know, you're gonna have to book some more matches. Hammerstone's gonna have a singles match. There's gonna have to be 2 or 3 more singles matches added. But yeah, that's my thought.
So I don't have the a Crockett Cup banner, but I do have the heavyweight tournament banner, and I believe that was an 8-person tournament, right? So this would kind of just help us out, right, real quick. So you would have, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches for the tournament, right? If I'm doing my math correctly. So
Yes, at least 6 matches you have to fill.
So then the other 6 matches, you're bringing in the Tonga twins, so they have a match, and it's more than likely they'll be wrestling with the TVMA, Tiffany Nieves and what's her name? Vanessa. No, what is her name?
Miss Star and
Tina Rossi. So the Tonga twins will probably wrestle Valentina TVMA. We'll just call it that. So that's one match, right? And then you have Hammerstone needs an opponent. If I'm going to book Hammerstone, look, I'm booking Hammerstone like I'm assuming he's going to be around. So I would probably put Hammerstone in a match with Mims, your national champion, because win, lose, or draw, if Mims gets a victory over Hammerstone, it really makes Mims look good. That would be getting the most value out of Hammerstone. If he's not going to be around, that's a great rub for Mims and makes him look like a big, strong boy. If he loses and Hammerstone wins the title, that's a great guy to have as your national champion, even if it's a short run with the belt. So the next match I would pick would be Hammerstone versus Mims, because I feel like there's no way to lose on that one. Whoever goes over, the NWA benefits. And then, of course, you have Natty and Kenzie for the Burke. And then you have...
might be another women's match in there.
Yeah, I think there probably will be. You got Natty and Kenzie.
And Kylie.
Markova and Kylie. But I feel like they've done that one to death too. But
Kylie or Kenzie?
Kylie,
right? Yeah, because Kenzie's against the world champion.
Or Big Mama, isn't she the TV champion?
Yeah. So it would
Big
be like
Mama
maybe
versus Markova.
Yeah, that certainly could be there. So we have 9 matches for the tournament. We've got 2 world title matches, right? And then we've got the women's tag team match. Hammerstone, who I'm just saying Mims. So that's 13 matches right there. And then you would maybe feature the TV title with Markova and Mama. That's 14 matches. And if you have one more, maybe
there's another TV title.
The other TV title. And as of right now, there is no TV champion as far as I know.
Good place to crown one.
Sean Mega says protect Mims. I'm all right with protecting Mims. If you put Mims over against Hammerstone, you really protected Mims. You make Mims look like a freaking superstar.
Oh, did we get the end of the Jack Stain tournament? Or is that going to be on Power?
Jack Stain's tournament was supposed to be at Hard Times 5.
Oh.
But then they do the finals or something like that somewhere else?
No, the finals were supposed to... So the tournament took place in Forney, and the finals are supposed to take place at Hard Times.
Where's that? And when's that? Or did it happen
in March?
Oh.
So it already happened. So, like, when you think about it, so everyone that we just listed, right? Here are the names that we haven't talked about. We didn't mention Frank. We didn't mention Max. We didn't mention
Clearwater.
He's not around. Silas Mason.
Oh, I mean the other Clearwater. The one, the Clearwater on Wish.
Carson Drake.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned any of the junior heavyweights. Ocasio. No, we didn't mention Carino. We didn't mention who.
Oh, I was just thinking Colby as soon as you said that.
Yeah,
we said Carino.
Yeah, Carino. We didn't mention who else?
Maybe that's the TV title because we also don't have Burchill. We don't have
Burchill, Mondo.
He's using that illegal lotion. I don't know if
that was, and we'll get to that momentarily, but that was maybe the dumbest explanation I've ever heard. Like,
he might be out for a while now.
So that's quite a few talents that are being held off the event. And of course there could be like a play-in TV title, like Battle Royal or something, or a 4-way to crown a new TV title or something. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I mean, I guess it's not disappointing because this night isn't supposed to be about everyone else. It's supposed to be about the tag team tournament, and you have some pretty high-profile matches to go with the tag team tournament. So,
yeah.
With that being said, I mean, sucks for Silas Mason, but he wasn't at the last year's Crockett Cup either.
He was on it. He wasn't in the cup. He was on the event.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he did. We saw him. That's where I first saw him. He took on Colby. Was it Colby Carino?
You saw him at the 76th anniversary show, sir.
Oh, well, all these events run together.
Yeah.
None of which actually they run together, and then you forget about them because 20 months later when they show up on TV.
That's right. So if I'm booking the show, right, I start off with probably, I think I start off with the men's world heavyweight title match. And I think the main event of the night is Natty versus Kenzie. And the reason why I do that is because it's going to be a good match. You'll have a hot crowd. And like one of the things I think when you're doing TV tapings, something to consider is if you put on a good match for the opening card, it kind of sets the pace for the rest of the show. Plus, the fans are really into the first hour of a TV taping, but by the time you get to the fourth hour, fans tend to die out. And I feel like with a good audience, that match will be better. I think Natty Neidhart will be able, like, because she's a WWE wrestler, because of who she is, I think people will be excited to see her wrestle. Where I think this match between Rhino and Latimer, I think would benefit from being on maybe first or second, just to get in front of the best crowd possible. I could be wrong. Jane, what are your thoughts on that?
I just all of a sudden thought about a TV title qualifier match between Hammerstone and Thrillbilly.
That wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, that's what I just thought of. Or maybe a four corners elimination match, and we have some people that actually win matches, maybe a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's still look. I'm not saying what I booked or wrote down was right. It wouldn't shock me to have no TV title match on either the men's or the women's on this show. It wouldn't shock me if we didn't have a national title match on this show. Historically, the national title has been defended. Historically, the TV title has been defended, but that's no guarantee. Last year at the Crockett Cup, I don't believe Mims defended the TV title. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now because I'm just kind of curious.
Well, I'm not paying attention to NWA, but I'm sure this up-to-date and current TV schedule has been promoting what matches are going to go on, so people are excited to see it, right?
You would think, right? So last year they did 3 preliminary matches before the show started. Then they had the Crockett Cup. They had 3. They had the Immortals take on Daisy, Kill, and Talos in the Crockett Cup tournament. They had Tiffany Nieves and Rekka Tahaka defeat La Rosa Negra and Ruthie J. Then they have the Southern Six defeat the Country Gentlemen. Then it was Murnox defeating the Looks at Kill. They had Joe Alonzo defend the junior heavyweight title against Jack Cartwheel. Then BFT defeated Max and Judeus in another quarterfinal match. Then they had Spencer Slade with Rolando Freeman versus Eric Smalls, which was a stupid piece of shit waste of time. Then they had Latimer defeat Zion for a national title match. Then Southern Six defeated Murdoch's in the semifinals for the Crockett Cup. Followed by the Immortals defeating Blunt Force Trauma in another semifinal match. Baron Von Storm defeating Mims in a non-title match. Kenzie defeating Ella Envy for the World Women's title. The King Bees defeating Tiffany Nieves and Rekka Tahaka in a women's title match. And EC3 defeating Sam Adonis in a world title match. And then Southern Six defeating the Immortals in the finals. So that's actually 6, 9, 12, 15. They had 18 matches at last year's Cup.
How many were pre-show though? Because I know that 76 had like 3 pre-show matches.
So that there had been another 3 matches above the 18. Those 18 matches were what were televised. So there was 3 more matches on top of that. So there's in total 21 matches at last year's Crockett Cup, which sounds about right because it was a long night.
You're trying to kill me, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
I noticed.
Sean
Make me watch all this horrible wrestling.
Sean Vegas says, I thought the PBS studios in Tampa was supposed to be the place for power tapings, and these other events were going to be separate.
Nope.
So, Sean, that's kind of what they sold us, right? That's what they said. They said that these were going to be signature live events, but it turns out the signature live event is just NWA Power on the road. It's no different, really. It is the signature live event, Crockett Cup, a Power TV taping. It's silly. It's stupid.
Scott Steiner's on the way. Sorry.
So, yeah, I mean, that's Crockett Cup.
That's somebody trying to arrest Billy Corgan for impersonating a booker and a wrestling promoter.
What's more important for a company's success, Jaden? A wrestling promoter or a wrestling booker? What's more important?
Depends on how you define both, honestly. A lot of times promoters are bookers now or that, but in all honesty, a promoter is a completely different position that requires a lot. If anything, the promoter of the NWA is probably Brian Idol. But the booker is Billy Corgan, unfortunately.
Like Dave Marquez is the promoter for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, but the booker is like Peter Avalon, Zicky Dice. I mean, at least that's how I see it.
Yes, and honestly, they're both very important, but a good booker can at least put on good matches and put on a lot of good grab attention. A bad promoter means nobody sees it. You know, kind of like trying to find TNA Impact Wrestling on whatever channel it's on. It's like you just can't find it anywhere. It's like, you know, so that's what it is with a bad promoter. You could have the greatest matches in the world. Nobody knows about it. So it is equally important. But the problem is if you do see it, you want it to be good. So I think overall, a good booker is probably most important because if everybody knows it's there and watches it's horrible and they never watch it again, you know, then who cares if the promoter's good at getting the attention out there? If they watch it, it's horrible and they never want to see it ever again. Like Dave Dahl wrestling.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they do enjoy watching Dave Dahl wrestle only because he gets his butt kicked and they love seeing that.
Well, who don't want to see him get his butt kicked?
Unfortunately, he looks like he's got 3 Tyruses and a burlap sack. That's what his body's like right now. So there you go, Willie Bone. There's your Tyrus joke.
So, I mean, when we look at the Crockett Cup, I mean, the tournament itself is kind of, it's not the selling point that I think it probably should be, right?
These guys they're very familiar with each other, so they'll know how to wrestle each other. We've seen probably every combination of these matches, though.
Double D, what do you think as someone who literally watches the product from time to time or all the time? You know, Jaden doesn't get to watch it as often as we do.
Which is never, which is the best part about it. This is why I'm still, you know, saying.
No, I don't think
relatively.
it's the selling point it should be. Like you kind of just said, it's the Crockett Cup. supposed to be the biggest pay-per-view like of the year, but it's not a pay-per-view. It's an event we're going to see 3 months after it actually goes on. And
Boy, are
the
you
talent
optimistic.
is just the NWA talent that they haven't really promoted too well, like you said. I mean, there's some guys in there that I absolutely love. Like I love Murnox. I love the Southern Six. Slime balls are always fun. But still, when you're seeing the Crockett Cup, you expect a couple years ago when you talked about the Briscoe brothers. Then everyone kind of around that same time was talking about FTR. Like you want these big teams. You want the best of the best to come for these, and it just feels like we're shelling out for some. Like there's a couple of teams that just got thrown together. Like I haven't seen EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth other than one match on Power.
Like, the thing that I find interesting is that at a tag team tournament, I mean that the marquee is tag team wrestling, and when we look at tag team wrestling on the in the wrestling universe, there are a few tag teams that are out there who are still wrestling, who are still very active, and aren't in deals where they can appear in the NWA, right? Like so when we look at the like FTR is still doing some independent shows. The Hardy Boys are still doing independent shows, and look, I'm not saying that it's easy, and I'm not saying that it's cheap, but like in a time and space where you could literally have a WWE signed contracted wrestler appear on your show, why can't you have somebody who is like the Hardy Boys on this event? Why can't you have somebody like FTR on this event? Now I understand because they're not going to do the job, but like fuck, I don't need if you bring the Hardy Boys in, they can win the whole thing for all I care. People will come to see the Hardy Boys, and you could say our Crockett Cup tournament featured these guys, and it's one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Hardy Boys. Their name is now connected to that trophy forever. Same thing with they keep going back to the past. Oh, Dusty and Nikolai or Stingy. I said Nikolai, didn't I? Nikita. Yeah. They can go back and say, hey, look, we've had our trophy, our this thing that represents the greatest tag teams, and we've had some of the best tag teams on it. With all due respect to the Heat Seekers, it wouldn't feel the same. It wouldn't feel as big of a deal if Matt Sigmund and I forgot the other guy's name, Elliot Russell's name was on that trophy, as opposed to you've got the Briscoe brothers, and you've got who was it, Murnox, and the Southern Six, and then the Hardys. I don't know. It just, you can't really bill this as the greatest tag team tournament in the world when it's not even the best tag team tournament in the United States.
Especially when he wastes a spot on the Nasty Toddlers.
The Nasty Toddlers, that's pretty funny. Sean Mega says that next year only the Final Four should be at the Crockett Cup. I kind of agree and disagree. I think by limiting the tournament, then it might as well just be, you might as well not call the signature live event the Crockett Cup, because you're kind of neutering the meaning of it. I feel like it's got to have that. The tournament, the bulk of the tournament should be on the pay-per-view or signature live event. Luthez says Billy books the cup as if the cup itself were the draw, which I mean it might have been when it came back, but I feel like there's been a downward churn for the talents that are in the tournament. We went from having Doug Williams and Harry Smith in the finals with
the Briscoe brothers.
Yeah, with the Briscoes, we went from that to the Southern Six and Murnox. And I like Murnox and I like Southern Six, but there's obviously a gap between the Briscoe brothers and the Southern Six. That's not to say that, Alex Taylor and Kerry Morton aren't good. I just feel like there's a lot better options out there.
Is that who the 6 reps are too, Taylor and Morton? Because they're all American.
Yeah, they're returning to the tournament this year. And then also the other match that we didn't talk about that has been announced is it's going to be a not a dog collar match, but a chain match between Jay Briscoe and Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Oh yeah, I did forget about that. And there's 2 talents we forgot about too.
Say that again.
Those are two talents we forgot about also.
Yeah.
We mentioned them when we were talking about everything.
And I guess now is a good time to start talking about Power because it did feature the matchup between Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky. In fact, that was the match that opened up the card this week on Power. One of the things that really pulled me out of the match in Double D, let me know if you felt the same way. The announcers kept alluding to Wrecking Ball Legursky running down Jay Bradley on the live mic or in front of a crowd or somewhere. And that never happened. Like, we didn't see that. The viewing audience didn't get to hear Wrecking Ball Legursky address the matchup. There was absolutely zero build for this match. And they didn't do themselves any favors by not having a promo before, during, after, anything. And the announcers tried to convey that Wrecking Ball Legursky still wanted to remain a tag team with Jay, and Jay was already done. And I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? Like, we got a match that doesn't make sense. Jay Bradley's really angry at Wrecking Ball, but we don't really have a reason why. And it just felt very artificial. Double D, what did you think about that match?
Yeah, kind of everything that you said. That's what I wrote down was maybe I missed it, but why exactly are the fixers fighting each other?
100%. Like, there was no... And
I
looked,
see it. I don't know.
I looked back a little bit and I was like, I must have missed it. Like, maybe they had maybe while I was gone, they broke up or something. No,
They did because it was at the I was at the one in Alabama, right?
They broke up.
Yeah, in Alabama, because I remember seeing that in the results. They split up then because what's his name attacked him from behind. Jay Bradley attacked Wrecking Ball. They split the team up.
Oh, so maybe that. Well, but that hasn't aired on TV yet. If that happened at Hard Times 5, that hasn't appeared on TV yet.
Is that the one that was in Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh, well, apparently that's, I don't know.
So, I mean, everything that we said still stands, even if they did, if they have a payoff to it, it's still, there was no explanation for the buildup. And now Sean's saying the one in December, and I'm trying to think back. The one in December was Looks at Kill, but I don't remember them having a breakup at Looks at Kill.
That was Alabama too, I think.
Yeah, that was in Alabama.
That's what I remember. It was the Slam in Alabama. But anyway, Wrecking Ball's on a big tear right now, though.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's a good single push for whoever wins this match and feud. Did they
before that?
Okay. What happened in the match itself?
I mean, it was big meaty men slapping meat. I mean, it was a lot of beef in the ring, and it was a pretty straight up match. There was no real like outside interference. There was no cheating. It was just kind of happened. It wasn't. It was nothing really unique or special. It was two big guys in the ring, and it was a fun match. But I can't really tell you that. Oh, this was the coolest thing that I ever saw. There was nothing really special about the match.
There was a big ass squash in the corner by Wrecking Ball.
Okay.
There was a big clothesline at one point by Jay Bradley that almost got a 3 count.
The boomstick, yeah, that's true.
Then they finished it off. I didn't know if you want me to say how it ended or whatever, but
go with it.
Yeah, it ended with Wrecking Ball doing Hacksaw Jim Duggan's old tackle. So,
all right, tough guy. This match should be sponsored by Arby's, first of all.
Yeah. If anybody can be the modern day Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I'm 100% okay with that being Wrecking Ball Legursky. It kind of fits perfectly,
I'd rather him be a modern day Bam Bam Bigelow personally, but Bam Bam Legursky.
Luthez says reform the fixers with Burchell and Bradley. Look, I really feel like there's something to be done with Bradley. I think it was time to split this team up for sure, because the last time they won on TV was probably a year ago. They lost a tag team title match in October from Murnox. They lost to the Slime Balls back in October. They even lost to the Stew Crew on part of Back to the Territories. Like, I don't remember the last time they actually won a match. as a tag team. So I'm okay with breaking them up. Wrecking Ball Legursky, I think, could have a very successful singles run. He's very charismatic. The fans seem to get really behind him. And if anyone's been watching Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, Wrecking Ball Legursky is almost a different animal when he's on the independents. He's a lot more he's definitely a fan favorite, and the crowd gets behind him, and he's a lot more energetic. Whereas on the fixers, they were kind of sluggish and slow and not really as I feel like Wrecking Ball Legursky has been would be a better asset to the NWA as a singles wrestler. But I kind of agree with what Luthez says, except for instead of Burchill, I'm thinking, Bradley and Zion. Let's do two birds with one stone. I think if Jay Bradley was with the Idolmania Sports Management and teaming with Zion, I think that's the best way you can get me to care about Zion. Another wrestler who's been completely devalued as far as I'm concerned, and the gimmick is basically nothing at this point. I think you could do something with Bradley and still be entertaining, and I think putting him and Zion together as a tag team might be a lot of fun, especially the old school one guy with the mask, one guy without the mask. I think there's something there.
Okay.
What do you think, Double D?
No, I agree with that. Jay Bradley, he's one of those vets. I remember like a year ago, I was watching WWE ECW from like 2008, I believe. Jay Bradley came out and he was just, he got squashed in like a minute and a half. But still, I was like, man, Jay Bradley's been putting in the work forever.
So let me blow your mind even more. Let me blow your mind even more. The early days of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Jay Bradley was one of those guys that would come out to Los Angeles and wrestle for PWG. Back then, he was going as Brad Bradley, and before he was working there. Then he got called to OVW. He was working in OVW. He also had some quite a few dates with, I think it was Pro Wrestling Noah, where he spent some time in Japan as well. So like he really has been one of those guys putting in the work, and I think he's close to 40 right now himself, which is not that old for the NWA. But again, you need to do something with him soon, or you're going to run out of time. And if he's not the guy, I don't think he is the guy that you put the 10 pounds of gold on, but I think he could be a lot more entertaining in something besides the fixers. I think that ran its course a while ago. Real quick, Jaden, to your point, James H. Jackson says, yeah, he's right. I looked at the hard time spoilers. They did break up in a big way. So that's probably why we get the chain match based off of this match. Sean Mega says, hey, split the Immortals up. Daisy killed Talos. We need a complete revamp. I don't normally want to break up tag teams, but, I'm also not against the NWA trying to do something different. And James H. Jackson says, just reboot. That's what DC does. And then Luthez says, the one with and the one without is the part that doesn't work for me, especially with BFT around. Oh, okay, with the masks. All right, well, look, it's just an idea. You could do the Killer Bees thing, and they could put the mask on during the match and fool everybody, right?
Mass confusion.
The next match up was we had the really weird segment with Kylie and Drake washing the car out front, and Double D, like maybe you paid more attention to this than me. Is Hunter supposed to be Kenzie's boyfriend?
So, in real life, Kenzie and Hunter dated a couple years ago. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're still dating. I don't know anything. They've been acting like he's their little brother or something at points, and
yeah, it has a really weird vibe because they're not flirting. It's not overtly flirting, but it's not like it doesn't feel strictly platonic either. And it feels very awkward. And I mean, it feels probably what it looks like. Sean Mega says, I guess he's the family friend. And that would work too. But there's never been an explanation of who he is to the Page sisters. They've never really explained like, oh, well, he's our friend from Crossfire, or, he's our, adopted brother, or he's the stepson. Like, we don't know what his role is in this family, but he seems to be around. And a trusted a trusted figure in the family because the dad's always talking to him and Kylie's always talking to him. The only one that's never talking to him is Kenzie, and that's the one that used to date him in real life. So it's very weird dynamic. And Kylie's kind of berating him, like, I'm sorry if I said some things that hurt your feelings while you're wrestling. I get fired up, but you couldn't even beat a girl. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like,
that's sexist.
Yeah. Well, what kind of value? Markova's a badass. Okay, cool. I got it. She got the victory over Hunter. That's fine. They're probably the same weight class, to be quite honest. He's like skin and bones. But like, he lost the match, and now you're gonna put him down for losing the match. It's kind of like, I don't know,
Rightfully
man.
so, honestly.
What's that?
Rightfully so.
Sure.
He lost to a 12-year-old with implants. No, actually, no. Markova, right? He lost to.
Yeah, he lost
to a 30-year-old with implants.
That's not okay. Luthes says I could cozy up to a full-on Page Sisters cat fight. All right.
Yeah, I think Billy definitely knows what he's doing there, putting Kylie in she was in the pool rehab skit, and then she was in the gym working out. Now she's washing a car. He's definitely going for those internet clicks. So something there.
That's you're probably onto something.
I looked up Kylie Page online, and I got a completely different person, and she was more on Pornhub than the NWA. Completely different person, completely different build.
Let's
Where's
not
that banner, Jay? That banner.
Real quick, I just want to make it known that
you should re-edit that banner, by the way, because DK ain't here.
Well, we could change it on the fly. Just give me a second here. We could just do this and then.
Pretty fly for a white guy. Dude. Look her up. They look nothing alike.
I'm not gonna look her up, man.
I'm on my laptop. I don't want those bugs.
Use your phone. Use your burner phone.
I don't have one of those, Jaden. I'm a married man, happily married. What are you talking about, bro?
That's most married. Never mind. I won't get there.
I just looked to see how long it would take for me to get to Irvine. We can wrap this up, but I could probably catch the end of TNA tonight. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
You can see a lot of TNA if you look up that one Kylie Page. Or Ken.
Hey, is it Kylie or Kenzie? Because someone in the chat is going to look right now, and I just want them to find the right source of what you're
Kylie. She's a blonde.
Kylie Alexa. That's her name. Don't forget.
No, not that. Kylie.
You'll probably find something there too.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. This is long-term booking storyline with Hunter, Kylie, Kenzie, et cetera, et cetera. We have to wait to see how it plays out. It's the long-term story.
Yeah, it's long-term story. No one asked for. Yeah. I'm glad you said it, because I was thinking it.
I mean, like, look, I said this a couple weeks ago when these skits started emerging. Like, I'm okay with them trying something different. And even if it's not what I would consider good, I can appreciate the fact that they tried to do something different. I think this could add to the show, but they need to clean it up. They need to have some dialogue coaches there. They need someone working on the script. Like, don't have them just kind of, okay, I'll say this. Hands above the table, boys. I'll say this, like it's very much like a teen drama, but without at least decent dialogue. And I think you could get something out of it. I think it could be interesting. It could maybe bring it a more diverse audience to the show, but it's got to be done better. It's not that it's completely off base. I just think it's not being done well. That's my opinion.
I just recently looked up a Kylie Page video, and it has significantly more views than the NWA does on X.
Sean Mega says, did you mention the Country Gentlemen and the Last as Crockett Cup teams? Yeah, the Country Gentlemen are on the list. They
who's the Lost?
I think you meant list. I think it's just a typo.
Who are the list?
The teams that I mentioned, the Crockett for the Crockett Cup.
Jaden, you killed me with that. That was hilarious.
How'd I kill you?
Nothing with your last comment. Maybe NWA should be streaming on a different website.
Yes. They pay better. People will confuse the Kylie.
Okay,
With a
Sean
few
Mega.
people, I'm sure.
Sean Mega, who are the Lost?
The Lost? Us trying to follow the NWA's booking.
So, okay, so here's who I know who are the teams in the Crockett Cup, and I'm gonna Alex Misery and Lev. I haven't seen their names on the show yet, Sean. What I've seen so far, the teams that have been mentioned that have been announced are, we'll start with the Country Gentlemen, the Southern Six,
The Big Friendly Giants.
Talos and Daisy, Team Exodus Pro, that's EC3 and P Smooth.
Peanut Butter Smooth.
Yeah.
Do you prefer smooth or chunky, by the way, Double D, while he's trying to think of that?
Chunky for sure. Give me some nuts. Nuts.
Okay, he says it's on the NWA Instagram. Okay, well, let's go to the NWA Instagram.
I had a joke, but Jay doesn't like my humor, apparently, so I won't say it.
I don't like getting demonetized, so if you could avoid that, then go for it, brother.
That's why I'm not saying it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so I see that there is... I don't see the Lost on here yet, but maybe I'm missing it.
Maybe it's because apparently they're not found.
That's kind of funny.
The Lost aren't found.
Okay, so we've got Pretty Boy Smooth, EC3. Yeah, I don't see them.
Lost is a lot like the NWA. Started off really good, and then near the end, they just obviously had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
By cracking you up, Double D, you're just not used to me, are you?
Yeah, Jaden with the one-liners. I'm like, you're on fire tonight.
If you are on the Instagram, go to the NWA Instagram and scroll down, and they show Kenzie in the bathing suit. It must have been cold that day. On the same screen as the Country Gentleman. Okay. Looking at the Country Gentleman. Oops. This Country Gentleman. I see Gail Kim. Let's see. Dusty and Nikita.
Oh, that reminds me. As you're going through Power, you completely skipped everyone endorsing Joe Kazana.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, the Lost is there. Okay. So how are they gonna?
Maybe there's a play-in round.
There has to be.
The Lost versus the Nasty Twinks.
Did you call them the Nasty Twinks?
Yes, I meant to say the Twins. It came out the Twinks.
Okay.
I meant to say Twins, but it just came out the wrong way.
All right.
Wasn't trying to be controversial, just naturally am.
So God damn it. I'm getting frustrated now. All right. So who do we have in the tournament? Okay. Country Gentlemen. We know that they're in there. Okay. That's team 1. The Immortals, got them. That's team 2. Let's say the Lost, team 3. PB Smooth and EC3, that's team 4. Team 5 is...
Symbol of Excellence right there.
What's that?
He had 4 up, fingers up.
BFT is 5. Alex and Carrie is 6. Slime Balls are 7.
The Nasty Toddlers.
Huh?
The Nasty Toddlers, aka the Slime Balls.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in my count, unless Murnox is not in the tournament, you have 9 teams. So maybe there is a play-in. I don't know. All right. Well, look, it's still 2 weeks away. Maybe there'll be some more clarity leading up to the tournament.
Maybe they'll have a battle royal where the last 2 are the tag team that wins gets in the Crockett Cup.
Well, you know, that's how they built the wild card back in 2019 at the Crockett Cup with ROH. I mean, that was Tom Latimer and Royce Isaacs were part of that battle royal, and they won the battle royal and then were put in the tournament. They ended up getting to the finals, only to lose to Marty Skrull and PCO.
It wasn't Skrull. It was PCO and
Brody King.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Wow. So
all right. So that
I didn't realize that they were actually wild cards.
Yeah.
I thought that was just their name, like the wild card.
No, they called them the wild cards because they won the wild card play-in, and then it was just like, oh, it's a fun name to go with, and then they went from being the wild cards to being strictly business. So then they kind of dropped the wild cards and just strictly business.
Yeah.
I thought strictly business was the faction and wild cards was a tag team name.
It was, but then they just stopped calling them the wild cards. I mean, you got to remember they didn't last very long either. Royce was done after the first before COVID. Royce was done with the company, so
it's a shame. I like him.
Well, he's still out there. He's killing it, really. Him and Jarrell Nelson are the West Coast Wrecking Crew, and then he's also does a lot of indies here in SoCal. He's the Epic Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and then also we see that. He's also done some of the blood sports with Josh Barnett, so he's still out there, and he's still working a lot of New Japan Strong dates too. Noob says, "Did you see the tweet that Markova posted? She's going to make some noise soon. She's hinting at something wrestling related or non-wrestling related."
Well, that's just everything.
that for her. That is everything.
It's either with wrestling or without wrestling. Jeez, can you narrow that down any? Can you give me a number between 1 and 17 quadrillion?
No, the answer is no. Making some noise soon. Guess what's coming? Like, if I had to guess, I think it's like maybe an OnlyFans page, but that's just my guess. I don't know. Sean Mega says, I bet it's 16 teams. That's a lot of freaking tournament wrestling. If it's 16 teams and we've got, okay. So with 8 teams, that's 9 matches. So if it's 16, that's what, 18 matches?
17, right?
17. Yeah.
It's just an extra 8 matches to the 9.
So 17 matches, and then so if you do 17 matches with just the TV or the world title matches, the female tag match, and something with Hammerstone, that's like 4 more matches on top of 19. That's 23 matches. That seems like a lot.
Holy crap!
WWE had like 4 on their Backlash pay-per-view.
I got upset when DAWG had 13.
That was I watched a lot of that live stream. That was pretty wild. I was like, wait, they're still on?
Yeah, they had to fill from 9 to 1. So that's what, 5 hours?
Yeah.
4 hours? 4 hours.
Yeah, 4.
5 was the next day or 2 days later at the South Jersey Geek Fest, where they went from 11 to 4.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
Luckily, it took at least 2.5 hours for Dave Dahl to walk to the ring, to waddle to the ring. And he did it twice.
This past Tuesday, I was at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and I believe it was like 7 matches. And I actually got to shoot a little bit from the ringside steps. So I was doing some, on my knees photographing. And holy shit, man, did my knees hurt afterwards? And I was limping around. I was like, oh my god, dude, how do they do this? I'm gonna bring knee pads next time.
Photographers wear knee pads. I just want to make sure in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I need to get some because if it ever happens again, which I'm sure it will, I would like to have something. Because I was like, damn, dude. My buddy saw me. He's like, are you all right? I'm like, no, I was taking pictures. James H. Jackson says, less is more with matches. I like the way Trips does 5-card matches. He explained why on the podcast I listened to. I feel like the NWA, because this is a one night, because they don't tape as often as they probably should, they try to get as much content out of that night as they possibly can. Look, I understand finances are what they are. If there was a way that they could turn this into a 2-night thing, if there's a way that they could do some of it live and some of it taped for TV. I mean, I feel like just the way that the current distribution plan for the NWA is flawed, very, very much so. And I feel like it hurts the brand being as delayed as the content getting up on TV. I feel like it's not fresh. You know, Rhino speared Carson Drake after that match in the slime balls, and that was back in March. We're now in May. We're now officially in May. It's been almost 2 months since that's happened, and there's been no follow-up on the NWA in terms of TV, just on social media, which again, you know, the product exists on social media, so maybe that's okay. But like if this was a traditional TV show, you'd be completely lost. You would have no idea if you're watching the show on TV and then go to the arena and it's a completely different lineup because, well, these guys used to be tag teams. Now they're feuding. This guy attacked this guy and now they're in a feud. It's like, it doesn't, the continuity is just not even there.
You know, I asked Justin Timberlake what month it is, and he goes, "It's got to be May."
Did I ever show you I have a Silas Mason action figure?
That's the variant of the Terry Gordy figure. That's actually not the. There's two versions of that figure, and that's the variant. That was the second version. In case you didn't know.
I didn't know. James H. Jackson says, "Jake, how did you see that the UWN is going to New York?" Yeah, man, I'm kind of on top of things, but I don't like to post a lot unless like. And I hope this doesn't get back to David because I love the guy, but he has a lot of eye in the sky type goals and dreams and hopes for the United Wrestling Network. And we used to report on all of them. And then a month later, we're not talking about it anymore because it fell through. So I don't want to post something until he has a card and he has a date announced because I don't want to get excited about something that's not going to happen. There's also talks that they might be returning to Arizona. Maybe not a completely separate entity, but just a Championship Wrestling from Hollywood would tour also Arizona as well as Irvine and Oxnard in California. But I don't want to get too excited about these things until they actually are happening, because if you report on it and it doesn't happen, then it looks like either you got taken or maybe you cursed it. I don't know. Let's get back to Power. So then the next match was the I don't remember what the match was. What was it, Double D? You got notes?
Colby versus Zion.
Colby versus Zion. Now, this was a weird dynamic too, and I wanted to talk about this because for whatever reason, and I'm going to shoot from the hip here. I don't think this match was originally part of the tournament matches. I think they just said, hey, we didn't get a chance to film a match that was supposed to have Burchill and Colby, but we have this one of Zion and Colby. Let's just run it. Because it was, you know, those tournament matches were happening in Forney, Texas, not in Tampa. The matches that happened in Tampa were filmed before the matches in Forney. Like they're showing them out of order, I believe, unless I'm completely missing the boat here. I think the matches that were filmed in, oh, you know what? I take that all back. These were filmed after. These were in February. These matches were filmed in February. All that to say, for whatever reason, Burchill wasn't there. And instead of just saying, hey, Burchill couldn't make this booking, or Burchill's hurt, or Burchill, they came up with this weird story that Burchill used some Slav, some healing lotion, and it was found to be a part of the banned substance from the NWA, and they suspended him. Jane, you remember we used to call Billy Corgan Convoluted Corgan?
Yes.
It's fucking ridiculous that they went to that length to tell us why Burchill was not wrestling Colby. Like, they could have just said, hey, you know what? It turns out he suffered a stinger. He wasn't cleared to compete. So instead of, giving Colby a bye, we're going to have Zion fill in that spot. That's as simple as you could have done, and it would have been fine. No one would have even questioned it. It happens all the time. I mean, going back to the world title tournament with Adam Pearce and Bryan Danielson, that was set to be the finals. It was supposed to be Bryan Danielson versus Brent Albright for the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Bayman, Puerto Rico. Right? You remember that, Jaden?
Yes.
Danielson broke his orbital bone when the Ring of Honor World Champion, whose name I forget right now, like smashed his face in, and Danielson was not cleared to wrestle. So they brought Pearson to wrestle for that match, and history was made. And it was just the explanation of like, well, Danielson's not cleared. He can't compete. So the person who, lost that match, we're just going to push them ahead in the tournament. It didn't do anything bad for the tournament. It's like Danielson couldn't compete. You don't want to just give the title to Albright. He's got to beat somebody for it. Well, he ended up losing. I don't mind that Zion was in this place. I don't mind that Zion took the spot for Burchill for whatever reason. I just hate the explanation. Like, it was some ointment. Double D, I mean, like, you watched it. What were your thoughts? What did you think when you heard it?
I had to rewind it because I was like, wait, did Billy just say that? So I had to rewind it and listen to it again because Paul Burchill apparently bought some lotion from another country that he didn't know the ingredients of it and used it right before his match. So he didn't oil himself down or use water on himself. He used lotion instead before his match. And then got lotion in Zion's eye, which Zion wears a mask. So how you get it really in his eye unless you're going under the mask? It was convoluted, like you said. It was hilarious. And I think, Father James Mitchell can have Coke on pay-per-view, but we can't have lotion in a match. So
definitely. You should definitely be sponsored by Pepsi instead. Go ahead.
Pepsi.
Huh?
No, nothing. James H. Jackson said, I wish Billy would sell the NWA and name his show something else.
Smash and Wrestling.
Look, there was a point in time where MTV held the rights to Wrestling Society X. Why couldn't have Billy bought Wrestling Society X? His booking would have been perfect for Wrestling Society X. It would have all worked. Billy and the WSX. I mean, and it could have had the rock and roll wrestling connection, and we could have. Jaden, is it wrong that sometimes I wish that Bruce Tharp still owned the NWA?
Yes, that's still wrong. I wish he would have sold it to somebody better. But we remember how excited we were too when Billy Corgan bought it.
Yeah.
I still think that Billy Corgan can be an asset to the NWA, just not with a booker or anybody with control. He should give up something. He can keep up his name and use it to the benefit to the NWA, and then have somebody actually who knows what they're doing in charge of running it. And apparently it's not any of the people that are currently helping him and advising him either.
I feel 100% the same way. Like, look, I don't think there's unrepairable damage to the NWA. I don't think it's like a sinking ship. I think that if they tweaked a few things, I feel like it would be a much better show. I don't have a problem with Billy being creative, but let's bring it down a little bit and let's kind of have someone that can help get his ideas and flush them out like Lagana used to do. Or have him sidestep it and not do creative and allow, this is my idea, guys. This is what I want to do. Now make it happen. I'd be all right with that. Like,
imagine these booking meetings at the NWA though. You have Danny Deals, who's a nutcase. Probably have like Aaron Stevens in there, who is a nutcase as well. EC3, who his ego's got to be fed. Like this war. Then Billy Corgan, of course, who's he's something else. So yeah, Joe Gallo's probably staring around like, what is going on right now?
A little birdie told me when they first started filming in Atlanta, those meetings would go 8-9 hours long. Yeah,
see, that's not out of the realm of possibility. There are bookers who spent that long, and there's also bookers who 15 minutes before the thing put down together a lineup. There is both of those type of people. There's bookers that booked everything and then changed it mid taping too. In the middle of the match. But,
well, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we heard that Vince McMahon would, at 3:05 on a Monday would tear up the script and start all over from scratch for a live Monday Night Raw. I'm not even against that. I just feel like, if you're going to spend 8 hours, 9 hours in a booking meeting, like, you better have some pretty fucking airtight shit. And like, let's not forget that lots of times things have fallen by the wayside. Let's not forget, like, lots of times with this NWA booking, that stuff doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Remember there was the team war a few years ago where there weren't enough points for one team to be considered in the finals, and they just kind of gimmicked it during the show, and it's like, wait, what? Like, the numbers weren't adding up. And it's just, this tournament was supposed to honor the memory of Jack Stane by crowning a new number one contender for the heavyweight championship. And that match isn't even going to take place at the next pay-per-view. Maybe, I guess, it'll take place at 77. But, like, right now it's going to either be Colby or Frank in the finals, right? Like, wait, what? Or wait, I'm sorry, it wasn't Frank. It was Frank or
Frank and Colby. I think you're correct.
I know Colby's in the finals, but I don't know who. I think Frank has one more
I
match
think the former Judeus wasn't he?
No, Frank beat Kerry.
Frank beat Kerry. So yeah, that's it. It's Frank and Colby for the finals, I think.
I think you're correct, Sarah.
And so that match isn't going to happen until.
How do I know this stuff?
I don't know. It's not going to happen until after the Crockett Cup. So, like, I don't know. It just. And we didn't even get to the other match on the show yet. What was the final match?
Quickly, let's go through it. We got 3 minutes.
EC3 and Peanut Butter Smooth versus Blunt Force Trauma.
Now, this was
Aaron Stevens.
Yeah, it was an interesting match in that, Billy's not afraid to put two heels in the ring together. But it's always kind of a weird dynamic because, the heels always usually find the shortcuts to win a match, and both teams are trying to find shortcuts. It gets kind of hard for a fan to cheer somebody and boo somebody when they're both acting like heels. Aaron Stevens did get involved, but the match mostly was fairly clean. And I really feel like Carnage is taking it up a notch. Carnage, I think, is ready to go back to being a singles wrestler because that guy he's looking really good to me lately. And I feel like he would be probably better used as a singles wrestler at this point as well. PB Smooth and EC3 didn't look bad as a tag team, but again, why are we wasting energy on a tag team we're just throwing together when there's so many other tag teams that we've talked about that could use some of that spotlight, especially before the Crockett Cup? But Double D, tell us about the match.
Help me out real quick. Is Carnage Rodney Mack or is it Marche?
Marche. I mean,
all right, yeah.
So Carnage
I would agree with you.
I think they should hook a rocket up to Carnage.
Yeah. He had a really good match. Tom Latimer a couple weeks ago too.
He did have a good match. Yeah, that's kind of. I thought it was a decent match, but same thing you said, heel versus heel dynamic. It's never gonna go perfect. At one point when so Damage is the other one, right? Yeah. He went to attack Pretty Boy Smooth in the corner and just completely whiffed on that one. I thought that was kind of, but yeah, Pretty Boy Smooth played it off well by getting the advantage from the outside. But that's a big dude. Yeah, I don't know. This should be exciting to watch in the Crockett Cup for sure.
Can you imagine if Pretty Boy Smooth had a mask? That amount of fabric will probably put Joanne's Fabrics back in business.
Oh my god. I follow business. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that again, this wasn't like a bad episode of Power. It really wasn't. Like it wasn't a bad episode. It's just like we're so ready for Crockett Cup and everything that we're watching now is so delayed that it's hard to be excited about what's being presented on TV. And yes, we totally skipped over the whole like the presidential campaigning for the president territories. And I feel like, again, this is such a stupid thing to focus energy on. And maybe Billy's like, well, maybe somebody said to Billy, hey, we need to fill up like 15 minutes a week. And Billy says, well, I have an idea. We can put a president in the office for the territories. And he's like, I'm abstaining from voting because I'm a president. I'm the president of the NWA and I own a territory. It's like, well, shouldn't you have twice the amount of concern about who's running the territories then? I don't know. It's silly to me. It's dumb. This is the kind of stuff that I think turns wrestling fans off because look, if I turn on wrestling, I don't want to see Pastor CeeLo and our women's champion sitting in chairs talking about how they're going to make the territories better. That's not a conversation for the fans to be a part of. Like, that's supposed to be, I mean, I know it's all kayfabe stuff, but it's like, I don't care. I don't care about who's running the territories. I don't care what's happening. You know, if the wrestlers are getting better paydays or if there's going to grow more territories. None of that matters to me. If I'm watching Power, I just want to see the stars of Power wrestle. I want to see titles change hands. I want to see wins. I want to see losses. I want to see talent be elevated. And seeing a presidential election for the president of the territories, which should all be behind the scenes anyways, it's like, this isn't the kind of kayfabe I want you to break right now. You know, go back to doing 10 pounds of gold. That's the kayfabe breaking I want to see, not this.
For somebody who doesn't care, you sure talk a lot about it.
Shut up. Double D, what do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong?
No,
what about these territories? Am I right? Sorry.
I definitely think that there was more people that endorsed Joe Kazana. Like, they showed a bunch of clips of wrestlers endorsing people, and Joe Kazana seemed to have like literally every other person get like endorsing him. And then at the end, they said CeeLo and Kenzie are the most two popular votes right now. Like, no, they weren't. It was Joe
Everyone
Kazana.
else was like, who was a part of this scientific survey? Who did you survey here?
Yeah, it's probably what you said. They needed to waste 15 minutes, so they threw this on. But
the same survey department that said Hillary Clinton will make a good candidate for president.
Oof. We're not going to get into those kind of politics. The only politicking we're going to do here is trying to get Big Mama to come on the podcast. Big Mama, if you're watching, there's always an open seat for you here.
Somebody tag Big Mama.
Somebody tag my mama. Wait a minute.
Somebody tag my mama. Somebody tag Big Mama.
Yeah. So again, like, overall, the episode wasn't bad. The wrestling was actually pretty good. I didn't hate anything that I saw.
Who won the main?
Huh?
Who won the main? I wasn't sure.
I believe it was
EC3 rolled up damage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a roll up victory.
It was
right after. So Pretty Boy Smooth got knocked off the apron. He wrung Damage's head off the top rope, and then EC3 rolled him right up.
And it was like nothing really salacious either. Like, there wasn't like a loaded weapon or a chair shot or Aaron Stevens holding someone's foot or anything like that. It was pretty benign. You know, the Foot Clan of the Exodus soldiers were there, like, with their masks and everything, and Stevens was out there. But it was a mostly clean match, considering, which was refreshing, because usually, you know, Stevens is getting super involved in the matches. He did get involved, but not to the extent like he normally does.
I think Pretty Boy Smooth knew that finish was going to happen because he dreams in the future. That size of his forehead.
Yeah, he's got a really big head.
Yeah, he's a sniper's wet dream.
He's got a massive cranium.
So there was one last thing on Power, though, Jay.
What's that?
Power. Our World Heavyweight Champion Tom Latimer cut a promo.
That's right. The promo, and he's still coming after Stevens. He's not.
We're still behind.
Yeah. So we know. So they had the confrontation. They had the match, and the locker room leader, like, because that's what he called himself. He's the leader of the locker room. He's the world's heavyweight champion. Sometimes you got to do the dishes. You got to put on those rubber gloves, and you got to take out the trash. And he is, I guess, making it his mission to take Aaron Stevens out of the NWA. But, like, that's not going to happen. So where are we going with this promo? I mean, already we know that Hard Times, he's going to be wrestling Carson Drake. So, like, the next title match we see on TV should be him versus Carson Drake before we get to the Crockett Cup. So I unless Stevens is going to be in Carson Drake's corner for Crockett Cup, I mean, for Hard Times.
But also, Aaron Stevens got a promo a couple months ago saying that he has in his contract a title match. So
you think there's still another match to happen?
Yeah, I feel like there's something in the middle there. I'm excited to see what's going to happen on the next show for sure. Like how we get the whole, the whole Rhino versus Latimer match. But
so, I mean, I don't know how much more they have in the can for Tampa. I think they filmed for 2 days, and I think we've only got 2 shows out of the 2 days. So there's still probably at least another month of Tampa before we get to Hard Times. So I don't think we get to Hard Times until June. And then the next event after that is the Crockett Cup because they haven't taped anything in between. So at least on TV, there'll be quick turnaround from Hard Times to Crockett Cup. It's just when we're actually watching that, I don't know, it'll probably be in the summer or late fall or early fall. I mean, so
2027.
It feels like it. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up. But Jaden,
yes,
let's give you the last few minutes to talk about Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. And outside of the DawgProWrestling.com and the YouTube channel and the social media, they can all be found on DawgProWrestling.com. What's going on with Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators?
I don't know if you noticed, and keep it up, so don't pull me up because I want to talk to you guys with this. But there's been a lot of challenges coming out of woodwork for a new champion, Vinny the Fixer. I mean, we just saw today or this morning, Biggie Biggs put his name in a hat as he wants a shot.
Yeah.
Former WWF, Ring of Honor, OVW, Monster Factory guy, Tank Tolan wants a shot. You got Bundles from OVW Wrestling. You saw him on The Wrestler on Netflix. He wants a shot. There's challenges coming up and down throughout the woodwork. Trying to get wanting to challenge the new champion. I know that there's a couple more coming out there. You're going to see some more challenges coming up soon when they show up on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, by the way, this coming Monday, you're going to see 2 matches go live. One is Daredevil Dave Dahl, looking like all cankles, taking on Big Billy Gold. And you're going to see the 4 corners elimination match in its entirety with where Vinny the Fixer became DAWG champion. Spoiler alert. And that's going to go live this coming Monday. If things work out, we'll have 2 new matches on Tuesday and 2 new matches on Wednesday also. So keep eye on that. Plus of all the promos and people challenging for the DAWG championship. Tyler Sky is another one that's got his name out there in the hat. A lot of people want that shot at Vinny, and they want their name going. In fact, here's a spoiler for her. Somebody actually messaged us recently. You wouldn't expect that actually wants a shot at Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, wants to work for DAWG. That's Timothy Zabisco, son of the living legend Larry Zabisco. He actually messaged, he wants to put his name into a DAWG match coming up to work on a DAWG event. And he was asking like what's going on with the new champion Vinny the Fixer. So there's a son of a former 2-time world heavyweight champion, a second generation wrestler, and the Timothy the Bruiser Zabisco, the living legacy. That's
talk about a dog.
Yeah, that's somebody. That's not even from this area. That's somebody he wrestled on North Carolina, and he caught the attention. Huh?
My guess was Florida.
He actually is from the Carolinas. At least is where he is right now. He's got an event coming up where he's working on this event. It's RWA. Former DAWG champion Chance Profits on that event. Okay. Former DAWG champion Damian Wayne's on that event. Lodi from WCW. Johnny Goodtime? No, Johnny. He was on the Survivor show. What's his name?
Johnny
Fairplay.
Yes.
Johnny Fairplay is going to be there. The formerly known as Gunner, he's going to be a special referee on this card. There's a lot going on what's coming up with this card on the RWA. Timothy Zabisco is going to be obviously there. So there's a lot of people, recognizable name talent out there, and people, names that people recognize. And that's where Timothy Zabisco is going to be wrestling very soon. And again, he wants to travel up to New Jersey. I just recently found out Timothy Zabisco was born in New Jersey. And he's never wrestled here, which is part of the reason he's looking to come to South Jersey's #1 wrestling promotion. He's born in Parsippany, New Jersey. The longtime wrestling fans, not born in Glassboro. That's too rustic for him.
No, I said, how far is it from Glassboro?
Where, North Carolina or Parsippany?
Parsippany.
About 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
It's way North Jersey, but that's where the ICW and the Savoldis were from.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know my northeastern geography. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm lucky I know where Irvine, California is.
Yeah, just know that Sacramento and Los Angeles are like 9 hours apart.
That's as far apart as the NWA's current booking.
That's like 9 months apart. Anyways, yeah. I think that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. If you're still hanging on, why? But I appreciate you. We're going to pick up again next Thursday. Rick Del Santo will be back with us. Hopefully, Double D. You going to be here next week? Maybe. All right. Well, we'll take that maybe as a yes for now. And then, of course, the other Lions guys will be back on Sunday. And your boy Jay will be here on Tuesday to just keep this whole party going. But that's going to do it for us tonight. In the meantime, we got some new shirts up on the shop, on the merch shop. So check out the shirts. A lot of cool stuff there, of course. And I got some more shirt designs that are being designed. So we'll have some new merch coming up soon. If you guys
that one on the right's looking really good. I think I might grab that one next.
Which one?
That one on the right, on screen right.
Oh, that's not on the shirt design yet.
The Alliance one?
One
looks like Piper?
Oh, no. Okay, that one. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. All right, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.